Nuestra Familia. Nuestra Familia, Spanish for Our Family, is a Mexican-American prison gang with origins in Northern California. Formed in the early 1960s, the organization has grown to become one of the most influential and feared criminal organizations both within and outside the prison system. While members of the Norteños gang are considered foot soldiers of Nuestra Familia, being a member of Nuestra Familia itself does not signify association as a Norteño. Law enforcement agents speculate that Nuestra Familia, which operates in and out of prisons, influences much of the criminal activity of thousands of Norteño gang members in California. The gang's main sources of income are distributing cocaine, heroin, marijuana, and methamphetamine within prison systems as well as in the community and extorting drug distributors on the streets. History, origins and development in Soledad State Prison. Nuestra Familia, NF, was established in the early 1960s at the Correctional Training Facility in Soledad, California. Initially, the organization was formed as a response to oppression and violence from other groups within the prison system, most notably the Mexican Mafia, LAIN. The Mexican Mafia, established in 1957, had grown powerful and often targeted Mexican-American, Chicano, inmates who hailed from Northern California. This systemic abuse and dominance led to the creation of NF as a protective and solidarity group for these inmates. Early influence and collaboration with SoCal Chicanos. Interestingly, despite the later notorious regional divide between Northern and Southern California gangs, the early influence of Southern California, SoCal, Chicanos played a significant role in NF's history. Contributions from various Southern California neighborhoods were pivotal during the formative years of the organization. This included members from the 805 area code, Ventura and Santa Barbara counties, the Inland Empire, i.e., Los Angeles County, and San Diego. Several of NF's original and founding members hailed from these SoCal Chicano neighborhoods, showcasing an initial period of collaboration and shared struggle that transcended regional boundaries. Key figures and their backgrounds. 1. Tarzan, Pomona 12th Street Sharkies. Background: Tarzan hailed from the Pomona 12th Street Sharkies, a Chicano gang in Pomona, Los Angeles County. Significance: he played a notable role within the NF and is remembered posthumously with respect within the community. 2. David Cervantes aka DC, Chino Sinners. Background: David Cervantes, known as DC, came from the Chino Sinners, a historic gang in the Inland Empire. Significance: he rose to become a high-ranking member of the NF, indicating his significant influence and leadership within the organization. 3. Little John, Barrio Lil Valley, East LA. Background: Little John was from Barrio Lil Valley in East Los Angeles. Significance: as one of the founders of the NF, which was established in Soledad State Prison in the early 1960s, Little John played a crucial role in the formation and early direction of the organization. 4. Babo, Santa Barbara. Background: Babo was associated with the Chicano community in Santa Barbara. Significance: his involvement with the NF highlights the diverse geographic origins of the gang's early membership. 5. Pinky, Cucamonga Kings. Background: Pinky came from the Cucamonga Kings, a gang in Rancho Cucamonga. Significance: like other SoCal members, Pinky's inclusion in NF underscores the initial broad geographic base of its founders. The involvement of SoCal Chicanos in the founding and early development of Nuestra Familia demonstrates the complex and interconnected nature of gang history in California. It reflects how geographic and social lines were initially more fluid, with individuals from various regions uniting under common causes within the prison system before the later, more rigid divisions took hold. Formation and rivalries. In the late 1960s, the division between Mexican-American inmates within the California state prison system became more pronounced, leading to the formation of two distinct and rival groups. Nuestra Familia, representing the interests of inmates from Northern California, and the Mexican Mafia, representing those from Southern California. Bakersfield, California, emerged as the informal dividing line between these two factions. The rivalry was rooted not only in geographic and regional differences but also in cultural and social distinctions between the norteños, northerners, and sureños, southerners. The spark that led to the ongoing war between Nuestra Familia and the Mexican Mafia involved a specific incident in 1965 at Dual Vocational Institute in Tracy, California, where a member of LAIM stole a pair of shoes from a northerner. This event ignited a series of violent confrontations, marking the beginning of the longest-running gang war in California's history. Rivals: Aryan Brotherhood, Fresno Bulldogs, Mexican Mafia, Sureños. Allies: Norteños, Black Guerrilla Family, Bloods, Crips. Expansion into criminal enterprises. Initially, the primary objective of NF was to protect its members from the Mexican Mafia's violence and dominance. However, as NF grew in numbers and influence, it began to engage in various criminal enterprises to sustain and expand its operations. Members of NF became involved in drug dealing, extortion, robbery, and other illegal activities. This marked the transformation of NF from a protective prison gang into a sophisticated criminal organization with operations extending beyond prison walls into communities. The gang's main sources of income included distributing cocaine, heroin, marijuana, and methamphetamine within the prison system and the community, as well as extorting drug distributors on the streets. NF established a structured hierarchy with strict codes of conduct and governance, making it one of the most powerful and influential prison gangs in California. Recognition and continued influence. Despite its significant presence and influence, the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation did not officially recognize Nuestra Familia as a prison gang until 1979. By this time, NF had already established itself as a formidable entity within the prison system and on the streets of Northern California. The gang's continued expansion and involvement in criminal activities led to increased law enforcement efforts to curb its influence. Modern-day dynamics. Today, Nuestra Familia maintains a strong presence both within California's prisons and in the community. Its sophisticated organizational structure, along with its ability to adapt and survive law enforcement crackdowns, has allowed it to remain a significant player in the state's criminal underworld. NF's history of formation, growth, and conflict underscores the complex dynamics of prison gangs and their impact on broader societal issues related to crime, violence, and law enforcement in California. Initial conflicts. Nuestra Familia are prison enemies of the Southern Chicanos who consisted of LAIM, better known as the Mexican Mafia. While the Mexican Mafia had initially been created to protect Mexicans in prison, there was a perceived level of abuse by members of LAIM towards the imprisoned Chicanos from rural farming areas of Northern California. The spark that led to the ongoing war between Nuestra Familia and members of the Mexican Mafia involved a situation in 1965 in which a member of LAIM stole a pair of shoes from a northerner at Dual Vocational Institute in Tracy. This event put into motion the longest-running gang war in the state of California. Renewed organization. Then Attorney General Kamala Harris announced the arrest of Nuestra Familia members on June 8, 2011. Since the written constitution of the Norteños stated that the gang's leaders resided in Pelican Bay State Prison in California, the relocation of the 5 leaders led to turmoil among its members. The leadership vacuum resulted in a power struggle between prospective generals. Eventually, 3 new generals came to power at Pelican Bay, yet 2 were demoted, leaving only David D.C. Cervantes as the highest-ranking member of the gang in California. Cervantes' rise marked the first time in decades that the Norteños had a single leader at the helm of their criminal organization. The remaining leadership of the organization in Pelican Bay consists of Daniel Stork Perez, Anthony Chuco Guillen, and George Puppet Franco. While all Nuestra Familia soldiers and captains in California are expected to follow the orders of Cervantes, a small percentage of the gang remains loyal to the former generals and captains imprisoned in Colorado. Former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger had complained that keeping the 5 remaining gang leaders located in the same prison only continued to add to California gang violence, and that they should be scattered throughout different prisons. While the recognized leaders of Nuestra Familia in Pelican Bay asked that members respect the former leaders, they have been effectively stripped of their authority. Membership. While Nuestra Familia is primarily a Chicano gang, membership sometimes extends to other Latinos as well as non-Latinos. Members of the organization are considered to have taken a blood oath to join the gang and are considered lifelong participants. Nuestra Familia's written constitution allegedly states that no member should prioritize women, money, or drugs over their membership in the gang. Membership in the gang extends beyond prison. Women are not allowed to become full-fledged members of Nuestra Familia, but are sometimes used for communication and drug-running purposes as they are considered less likely to be noticed by law enforcement agents. The NF has a formal written constitution and a membership of approximately 250, with an additional 1,000 associates. Symbols. Members of Nuestra Familia are known to wear red bandanas, red rags, to identify themselves. Other symbols include the use of the number 14 or 14, as the letter N is the 14th letter of the English alphabet. Nuestra Familia members often use the image of a sombrero with a machete as their gang symbol. Investigations and prosecutions. Operation Black Widow and its impact on Nuestra Familia. Federal law enforcement agencies, long unable to infiltrate Nuestra Familia, began to shift their strategy to targeting the street-level operations of the gang. This led to the development of Operation Black Widow, a large-scale investigation that culminated in a series of high-profile arrests in the late 1990s and early 2000s. The operation focused on disrupting the gang's drug trafficking, extortion, and violent activities, both within and outside prison walls. Operation Black Widow was a significant federal investigation that targeted the leadership of the Nuestra Familia (NF) gang, resulting in the indictment and conviction of numerous high-ranking members. The 5 highest-ranking leaders identified and transferred to the United States Penitentiary, Florence ADX, the federal Supermax prison in Colorado, were notable members of Nuestra Familia 1. James Tibbs Morado. Role. One of the highest-ranking leaders within Nuestra Familia. Background. Deeply involved in the gang's operations for years, making him a key target in law enforcement's efforts to dismantle the organization. Operation Black Widow. Played a crucial role, leading to significant convictions. 2. Joseph Pinky Hernandez. Role. High-ranking leader. Background. Known for his strategic planning and influential role in gang activities. His actions have significantly impacted the gang's operations and structure. Operation Black Widow. His involvement was pivotal, contributing to the leadership vacuum that followed. 3. Gerald Quete Rubalcaba. Role. Senior leader. Background. Known for his enforcement and operational management within the gang, maintaining order and discipline. Operation Black Widow. His arrest and conviction were major blows to the gang's leadership hierarchy. 4. Cornelio Corny Tristan. Role. Senior leader. Background. Instrumental in the strategic planning and coordination of gang activities. His influence extends across various levels of the organization. Operation Black Widow. His capture and subsequent conviction were integral parts of the operation, further destabilizing the gang's leadership. 5. Tex Chuco Marin Hernandez. Role. High-ranking leader. Background. Known for his leadership abilities and involvement in organizing gang activities, contributing significantly to the gang's operational strategies. Operation Black Widow. His arrest was a critical element in the success of the operation, disrupting the gang's activities. Background of Operation Black Widow. Operation Black Widow was a large-scale federal investigation that began in the late 1990s, targeting the leadership and operations of Nuestra Familia. The operation involved extensive surveillance, wiretaps, and undercover work, leading to the arrest and indictment of numerous gang members. The primary goal was to dismantle the gang's leadership and disrupt its criminal enterprises, which included drug trafficking, extortion, and violent crimes. The transfer of these high-ranking leaders to ADX Florence was a critical part of the operation's success, as it significantly hindered their ability to control and coordinate gang activities from within the prison system. ADX Florence, known for its high security measures, ensured that these leaders were isolated and had limited communication with the outside world, thereby reducing their influence over Nuestra Familia's operations. Key generals and high-ranking members of Nuestra Familia 1. Robert Rios, Babo, Sosa, Supreme Commander who played a significant role in reorganizing Nuestra Familia, renaming the group, and creating a paramilitary structure. Authored the gang's constitution and acted as the security director. Later indicted on racketeering charges and sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. 2. Joe, Death Row Joe, Gonzalez. First lieutenant who worked closely with Sosa and was instrumental in the gang's reorganization. Involved in multiple murders and racketeering activities, receiving significant prison sentences. 3. Art Beltran. Provided valuable information to law enforcement after testifying against Nuestra Familia leaders, exposing previously unknown regiments. 4. Robert, Black Bob, Vasquez. Dominant figure in the early 1980s, pushing for the impeachment of Sosa and restructuring the gang by establishing La Tabla, Mesa, OGB. 5. Vincent, Chente, Arroyo. One of the NF generals responsible for strategic decisions and overall direction of the gang's operations. 6. Joseph, Pinky, Hernandez. Significant in devising hit lists and strategic planning within the gang. 7. Sheldon, Skip, Villanueva. Villanueva is known for his leadership skills and strategic influence within the gang. His contributions to the organization have been significant, impacting various aspects of the gang's operations and recruitment. Organizational structure and leadership dynamics. 1. La Mesa, Organizational Governing Body, OGB, the top governing council of Nuestra Familia, consisting of the highest-ranking members known as generals. Responsible for making major decisions, setting policies, and overseeing all activities of the gang. 2. Categories of membership. Category I. New recruits and members returning to the gang after a period of inactivity. Category 2. Experienced members responsible for training and educating Category I members. Category 3. Management-level members who handle strategic planning and execution. 3. Ranks within Nuestra Familia. Generals, General. The highest-ranking leaders within the organization, overseeing all aspects of the gang's operations. Lieutenants, Tenientes, implement the decisions made by La Mesa. Captains, Capitanes, oversee specific regions or units within the gang. Soldiers, Soldadas, core members involved in various criminal activities. Norteños, street-level members aligned with Nuestra Familia's ideology. Historical context and key events. Reorganization in 1972. Sosa and Gonzalez restructured Nuestra Familia, introducing a new constitution and paramilitary setup. Impeachment of Sosa in 1983. Vasquez's takeover and the restructuring of the gang's hierarchy. Defections and testimonies in 1978. High-ranking members like Beltran and Hernandez testified against the gang, leading to significant law enforcement actions. By maintaining a rigid hierarchical structure and adapting to internal and external pressures, Nuestra Familia ensures control and coordination across its widespread network of members, both inside the prison system and on the streets. This organization enables them to execute complex operations and maintain their influence despite external pressures. In 2001, 10 high-ranking members of Nuestra Familia were arrested under the Racketeer-Influenced and Corrupt Organizations (RICO) Act, resulting in a series of trials known as Operation Black Widow. The crackdown on Nuestra Familia involved dozens of local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies and is widely regarded as one of the most successful attacks on prison gang activity in U.S. history. These trials revealed a great deal of information about the gang's structure and operations. Two of the highest-ranking leaders of the gang, Cornelio Tristan and Robert Grattan, agreed to cooperate with authorities, providing valuable insights and testimonies that further dismantled the gang's leadership and operational capabilities. FBI Probe, 2020. Despite significant setbacks from Operation Black Widow, Nuestra Familia continued to operate and rebuild its network. On June 11, 2020, the FBI and local law enforcement launched a series of raids in Santa Clara County against Nuestra Familia, resulting in the arrests of 31 people and the seizure of weapons, drugs, and cash. This was part of a 2-year investigation into the gang's criminal activities. The probe aimed to disrupt the gang's ongoing involvement in violent crime and drug trafficking, further illustrating the persistent threat posed by Nuestra Familia and the continuous efforts by law enforcement to curb its influence. Conclusion: Nuestra Familia's history reflects a complex and evolving struggle for power, protection, and criminal enterprise within the California prison system and beyond. From its early formation as a protective group for Northern California inmates to its development into a sophisticated and influential criminal organization, Nuestra Familia has left an indelible mark on the state's criminal landscape. The ongoing efforts of law enforcement to combat the gang's activities underscore the persistent challenge of addressing organized crime within and outside prison walls. Fresno Bulldogs. From allies to enemies of Nuestra Familia. The Fresno Bulldogs, originating from Fresno, California, are a prominent street gang with a complex history and evolving dynamics with Nuestra Familia, NF. Their journey from allies to adversaries highlights the shifting allegiances and territorial disputes that characterize gang life in California. Origins and early alliance with Nuestra Familia. The Fresno Bulldogs, also known simply as the Bulldogs, emerged in the late 1960s and early 1970s. Initially, they were part of the Norteño coalition, aligned with Nuestra Familia, and shared the common goal of opposing the Mexican Mafia, Lain, and the Sureños. The Norteño Bulldog Alliance was rooted in geographical and cultural connections, as both groups originated from Northern California and shared common enemies. Early cooperation and solidarity. During their early years, the Bulldogs and Nuestra Familia cooperated closely, both inside and outside prison walls. They fought together against the Sureños and Lain, forming a united front to protect their territories and members. The alliance was marked by mutual support, with the Bulldogs contributing to the Norteño cause and benefiting from the protection and organizational structure provided by NF. The split. Causes and tensions. The alliance between the Bulldogs and Nuestra Familia began to fray in the late 1980s and early 1990s. Several factors contributed to this split. 1. Autonomy and independence. The Bulldogs sought greater autonomy and were increasingly resistant to the hierarchical control exerted by Nuestra Familia. They desired to operate independently without the stringent rules and taxes imposed by NF. 2. Territorial disputes. Fresno's geographical location and the Bulldogs' expansion efforts led to territorial disputes with other Norteño groups. As the Bulldogs grew in numbers and influence, their interests increasingly clashed with those of NF, leading to friction and eventual conflict. 3. Internal conflicts. Personal rivalries and leadership struggles within both the Bulldogs and NF contributed to the deterioration of their relationship. Internal disagreements often exacerbated existing tensions, pushing the groups further apart. The breaking point. Declaring independence. By the early 1990s, the Bulldogs had officially severed ties with Nuestra Familia. They declared their independence, refusing to align with either the Norteños or the Sureños, effectively becoming a standalone entity. This bold move marked the Bulldogs as enemies of both major prison gang factions in California, setting the stage for a new phase in their history. Consequences and escalation. The split between the Bulldogs and Nuestra Familia led to immediate and violent consequences. The Bulldogs, now isolated from their former allies, found themselves in constant conflict with both Norteños and Sureños. The following points highlight the impact of this transition. 1. Increased violence. The rivalry between the Bulldogs and Norteños escalated into open warfare. Fresno became a hotspot for gang violence, with frequent clashes resulting in numerous casualties on both sides. 2. Prison dynamics. Inside prisons, the Bulldogs faced significant challenges as they navigated a hostile environment without the backing of a major prison gang. Their refusal to align with either side made them targets, leading to brutal confrontations and power struggles. 3. Identity and symbolism. The Bulldogs developed their own distinct identity, adopting unique symbols and colors to differentiate themselves from both Norteños and Sureños. Their use of the Bulldog mascot and colors such as brown and blue became defining elements of their gang culture. Contemporary dynamics and ongoing conflict. Today, the Fresno Bulldogs remain a powerful and independent gang. Their relationship with Nuestra Familia is characterized by mutual animosity and frequent violence. Law enforcement agencies continue to monitor and combat the activities of both groups, as their ongoing conflict contributes to gang-related crime in California. Conclusion. The Fresno Bulldogs' journey from allies to enemies of Nuestra Familia underscores the fluid and often volatile nature of gang alliances. Their quest for autonomy and independence led to a significant realignment of gang dynamics in California, resulting in increased violence and ongoing territorial disputes. The Bulldogs' resilience and adaptability in the face of numerous challenges highlight their enduring presence in the state's criminal landscape, while their complex relationship with Nuestra Familia serves as a testament to the ever-evolving nature of gang affiliations and rivalries.